Hi, thanks for clicking on this video. If you've done it accidentally or it's an autoplay, bye! If you're sticking around, this is the Leeds United versus Chelsea match preview. We're going to look at recent results, the reverse fixture. We've got injuries, team news, predicted lineups, ref watch. We're going to have some score predictions, and we'll try and have a little bit of fun at Frank Lampard's expense as we go along. If you're new around here, click subscribe and leave your score predictions in the comments. Let's get into it. The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions. Any references to actual people are wildly inaccurate. It's probably best if you don't listen at all. The Roaring Peacock Podcast. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock Podcast. This is the match preview for Leeds United. Greatest team in the world, saviours of the Premier League, the last true champions, bastions of Bielsa ball, Bielsa who is staying forever apparently, and versus Chelsea, the merchants of the Lone Army, the oil-rich stealers of trophies, undeserved winners, time after time after time by a mad Russian who's definitely dodgy as fuck.
I feel like you said this on the reverse one, honestly. Have you not got anything better?
No, this is it.
Oligarchies. I know that. Never mind.
And the sacrificial Lampard, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So my name's Adonis, and you know me as @TheAdelites on Twitter, and it's a very good hello from me. And joining us to discuss all of those talking points and more, representing the Roaring Peacocks and the Mighty Whites, is our mate Ryan.
Hello.
And the stranger in our midst, the apologizer for a number of countless ill-gotten ills. It's Dan from Chelsea subreddit.
Hello.
Okay, so how is everybody? Where should we start? I'll start with you, Dan, I guess, because our listeners don't know much about Chelsea. We try and avoid that topic.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, I'm sure you do. All good, mate. All good. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, honestly. I think last time I was on here with you, we were obviously talking about the game beforehand. Won the game, top of the league, went down to 9th. Lampard got sacked. Tuchel's in. Now we're fighting for 4th, and we've been unbeaten on 11 games. So, yeah, rollercoaster ride.
You were saying last time that Lampard is a great manager. You know, just give him time.
Yeah. You quoted me and everything, didn't you? I think
we just had very recent experience of him being in the Championship. Where he'd taken Derby from 6th to 6th, and failed in the playoffs, and then every time he went to a cup final or whatever, it was always turned out badly for him, and we just didn't think very highly of him at all. What's your opinion now?
I suppose it's a bit of a mixed bag. So obviously, being on the Chelsea subreddit, you would have so many different opinions on it. My own personal one would be, I think, as a lot of people would agree as well, it's probably too soon. Obviously, we needed a manager. We're going through the couldn't sign anyone phase. He's done an okay job. I suppose it's up for debate, isn't it? Honestly, because you can't necessarily say. We went through obviously an FA Cup final. Obviously, we ended up being 9th in the end, following a bad run of games. However, it's a crazy season, isn't it? So, but look where we are now. I'm quite happy. I think he'll probably be back in the future. I think he'll do like a Mourinho. He'll come back for a second stint. I just hope that he's got a bit more experience and, becomes a better manager, perhaps. But yeah, crazy.
Ryan, it's difficult. It's probably difficult for Dan because, Lampard's a club legend. And although we hate him and them, they probably love him. and themselves.
He's a freaking fraud. It's as simple as that. There's no other way to describe him. The second coming of Frank.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because, you look at someone like Steven Gerrard, for instance. Obviously, he's gone and done wonders at Rangers. And I think sometimes it can be a flip of the coin where it could have easily been a Steven Gerrard. It could have been a Frank Lampard. I do think being a Premiership manager after a season with Derby, season a bit of Derby, it's too much, honestly. But again, I'm a moderator of a subreddit, so what do I know? I look at opinions.
I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for you, Dan, because I do actually genuinely like you as a human being.
You did say that last time.
Yeah. You're a sympathetic character as Chelsea fans go. But the thing is, with Chelsea, all managers get sacked. And with Rangers, with Gerrard and Rangers, that's different to Derby as well, I think, because I think it's very easy to win the Scottish Premiership.
He says when Celtic were on for the 10th there.
Okay, let's look at some recent results then. Ryan, West Ham 2, Leeds 0.
Yeah, West Ham 2, Leeds 0. We started really well, didn't we? We got going the early doors. 2 goals disallowed, one bit dubious. VAR again. I think that first 20 minutes just sums us up in London. I mean, 2 disallowed goals, concede a penalty, save the penalty, score from a rebound, and then give them a goal from a corner. That just sums us up, sums London up, and we got to half time 2-0, and we have to fighting a losing battle. But I thought we played a lot better in the second half. We could have and should have scored a couple of goals. I think it's fair. 65% possession, 17 shots. I mean, they're 5th in league as well, don't forget.
1,184 days without a win in London. Is there anything that we can do now to stop that? We've tried to break the curse doing a ritual. When I Googled how to break a curse.
Did you go, go lucky, first link, jump straight on it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a Wiccan ritual. It involved, an incantation and various steps in which you had to do the exact right things, otherwise it wouldn't work. Well, apparently I didn't do the right thing because it didn't work. I'm at a loss.
It's just never ending, isn't it? It's just when is it going to end?
Right.
I just don't know.
Well, would you say that the loss against West Ham was worse than the loss against Arsenal? Because obviously West Ham are on decent form, aren't they? So the 4-2 against Arsenal compared to the 2-0 against West Ham.
Yeah, we could have been a couple of goals up in that first 10 minutes against West Ham quite easily. We started really well, and then just imploded for 20 minutes, and then got going again. I mean, we could have easily got a point out of it at least. And if we'd have won the game, maybe we missed a hatful of chances in that second half.
I don't think it's any different for the players than it is for us. Like after those first 2 goals were, and then the penalty, it was just all of us, every single one of us was just like, no, it's London, it's not going to happen. And probably the players felt the same, and you can't really blame them at this point, I don't think. I mean, 3 years without a win in London. We, the fans, talk about, well, guilty of talking about it and hamming it up. And the players we know talk about it. And so they've got it playing on their mind. But anyway, okay. So moving on. Chelsea 2, Everton 0, Dan.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think we've come off a run of some really decent form and some really good football as well. It sounds strange to say, but I see kind of a lot of similarities in the style of play that Thomas Tuchel has kind of put in compared to what Lampard, I suppose, wanted to put it in. We're playing from the back really well, and it's weird and wonderful to see some strange formations as well, where I think one of the things that Chelsea fans always said is, how are you going to put Mason Mount and Kai Havertz in the same team? Well, we went from obviously a strong performance against Liverpool to then swapping our team around for Everton. I think we made like 5 changes. And, it was one of the few games this season where I've watched it and kind of thought, we're 1-0 up and I feel quite comfortable about it. So, yeah, it was a good performance. And generally, we've had some quite good performances for the past few weeks, actually. So, yeah, all good.
Okay. I've never felt comfortable with Leeds 1-0 up. Ever.
No, of course.
Ever.
That's Beelzebub, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, that's just ever.
That's just Leeds.
Yeah, that's just Leeds. Ryan, have you ever felt comfortable when we've been 1-0 up?
No, not a chance. Ever. Never.
So just looking at the Chelsea stats then, you've had 66% possession. You've had 19 shots to Everton's 7. Everton are a good team.
Well, they're currently the better team in Merseyside at the moment, aren't they?
Right. Yeah. Some would say that's always been the case. It depends how you value that, I suppose. This terrifies me, to be honest. You've had 19 shots against Everton. They're a very, very good team. So has Tuchel turned you into a side that are going to win the league in the next couple of seasons? Is that what's happened?
No.
It's quite stark, isn't it? Is this showing how bad Frank Lampard was?
No, I think as you mentioned before, obviously we go through managers, and nice pressing buttons there. We go through managers, and obviously that's just kind of our thing, honestly. Obviously it works quite well. I think that Tuchel's come in, and for what he's a more experienced manager. I think there's obviously no debate up for that. I think he's just come in and looked and gone, right, why are we playing 4 at the back? You've obviously got some pretty decent centre backs there. Play 3 at the back. Play with your wing backs. Obviously, kind of go back to a bit of a Conte style of football, where after a loss at Arsenal, we just completely changed the system and just kind of blitzed it after that. So I think he's basically just trying to have a look at all the players we've got and fitting them into a team where it works. Is
there a reason good. Lampard wasn't doing that?
Lampard was trying to, he was generally trying to. But what I would say though, obviously, like drushing aside, silly little things like playing out from the back, for instance, is that if you kind of watch under Lampard, it was very much kind of play straight down the wings and, don't kind of go from there, don't deviate, get it across to James, and then he would tend to cross it in. Under Tuchel, I think that the players have been given a bit more freedom of where they can actually play more easy balls and actually keep it and maybe dribble past the player. Because that was always one thing that I thought was a bit strange, is where if a player was under pressure when playing out from the back, they might just get rid. Whereas obviously against Everton, the amount of times Jorginho would just turn 360, get away from 2 players, and then we're playing it through the middle. It's simple, but a different style of football, but even kind of using the same frameworks though. So it's good. It's great to watch. But even though you've mentioned about the 19 shots, we don't seem to be that clinical though, unfortunately. That's the only problem.
Okay. Well, turned up a little bit there. They're not very clinical, Ryan. That's good.
That'll do us.
Yeah. So the reverse fixture then. Very unfair, I thought, to allow crowds in. I do think crowds make a big difference, especially the Ellen Road crowd, which won't be in. So, bit of an unfair advantage there, I think. There was some weird reaction to Llorente. I feel like there's some sort of Cockney mating call that was going. I don't know what it was. We'll ask Dan to explain that in a second. So Poveda was tripped up in the area, didn't go down. Could have been a penalty if he did. Should have been. There was an attempt cleared off the line from Rafinha. So loads of chances for Leeds. And actually at the start, a perfect ball from Calvin Phillips to Patrick Bamford. I mean, inch perfect. You couldn't have put it better. And Bamford skipped round, Mendy and scored. I don't think much happened after that in the game. Ryan, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, you've summed it up pretty well. We had plenty of chances in that game. 2,000 screaming Chelsea fans. Got a clue what that were about? We were in game, and it right up until death, really, wasn't it? I think they scored in injury time. Again, we conceded from a set piece, I think, in that game as well. It was fairly open game. Chances for either side. So, yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Okay, Dan?
Well, I suppose I'm going to have a bit of a different view, aren't I?
Right, yeah.
Obviously, the Bamford goal, that was delicious. That was that pass. I remember just looking at it kind of going, yeah, you've got to applaud that. Lovely goal.
Right.
We're forgetting about the Werner clearance off the line.
We'll just stop you there, and then that was good. That was good. I like that.
But yeah, so obviously the Bamford goal was really good. I think Werner managed to clear it off your line after Giroud managed to maybe inch it in. I think I remember that as well. So that was nice of Werner, wasn't it? To prevent the equaliser to begin with.
You gave us that. To be fair, you gave us that, yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. It was because obviously they wanted to keep to my prediction. That's why about the Giroud and Bamford score. So they knew that we had to skip to that. But then I will say as well. So even though Werner cleared it off the line, I think he had a fair few decent chances as well. So even though maybe you're saying it was quite even, I think we could have perhaps maybe put 4 or 5 away. We had a good game against yourselves. So, it was probably one of the better games under Lampard, which is surprising, isn't it? Really, considering.
Well, Frank will have been getting his boys raring to go up against Bielsa, won't he? I think after that you form nosedived. I do believe.
Yeah, it was the effect, the Bielsa burnout. That happens to other teams, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we did beat Derby home and away again, and we were singing a song about Frank Lampard. So I think he's been quite riled up by our fans. Yeah. He was definitely fired up for that, and so were Chelsea. My perspective, he played a medium block against us, a medium-low block. You allowed us to play it around at the back between our defenders, and then you sort of stopped us being able to progress the ball upfield, and our midfield weren't coming back enough to collect it and get those triangles moving up the pitch. That is the way to play against Bielsa ball. And I thought it was actually a master class of a performance as to how to beat us, how to beat our system. Lampard's obviously got something in him. He's got like a little nail in his side, a chip in his shoulder against us, and he's put in probably more work than for anybody else to try and beat us, and that's exactly the way to do it. Bielsa, the whole Spygate thing, he did a whole presentation on how to beat Derby. So this has got to him, and it would get to anybody. So I thought you did very well. Very well, I say, through gritted teeth.
Well, that must have been tough for you.
Very diplomatic.
Do you feel like you're AA meeting where it's just kind of you come out and it's just like, I haven't had a drink for a long time now, and it's very tough to say. Yeah, well done, Adonis. Well done.
I haven't said anything nice about an opposition team in a while.
Yeah. You can change the sign now. 0 days until I've said nice things about an opposition team. Right.
Well, there you go. Okay, so some team news. Oh, firstly, can you address this catcall thing? What's that all about?
Yeah.
The noise that you make when Llorente got the ball.
If I remember rightly, didn't Llorente perhaps dive or go down quite easily after some challenges, I think?
I'm not talking about that. I'm specifically talking about the noise that your fans make.
context.
Right.
So I think he went down quite easily. So I think everyone was doing some form of sounds. I can't even remember, but
right.
Making comments about that, I believe.
If you can't explain it, that actually looks good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it sounded like some, there's a werewolf movie or something, and they've got some extras, and they said, just try and make a werewolf noise or whatever.
Yeah, because normally that's on the signs outside Stamford Bridge. Honestly,
right.
Pretend that you're in Michael Jackson Thriller and make some noises. Make some noises. Yeah.
Okay. Team news then. Ryan, did you watch the?
I've picked up a few bits from press conference. Yeah. It's all looking pretty positive at the minute for us, isn't it? Players coming back. Mm-hmm. Berardi were back last week, so this week we're looking at just Pablo and Strike out, I think.
Okay.
Cock's back fit, but I think he's going to play in the 23s Monday.
Yep.
So Cock's out.
Right.
I think that's about it. I think
Cock's in.
Cock's in, yeah.
Cock's in the under 23s.
Cock's in the under 23s.
Yeah.
And Shaq's as well. Shackleton, I think he's fit. So we're looking healthy towards the back end of the season, hopefully, touch wood.
Fantastic. And we probably need it. So the lineup then is probably going to be Meslier, Alioski, Cooper, Llorente, Ayling, Phillips, with Dallas in the middle, Rodrigo, Harrison on the left, Rafinha on the right, and Patrick Bamford up front. Dan, have you got some team news for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think the only person that's injured is probably Tammy Abraham. I think he's out with an ankle injury. But then Thomas Tuchel hasn't actually been playing him at all. So we've basically got our core team available. Okay.
Yeah, you seem really wounded by not having Abraham, given that you've got, Werner, Havertz, Olivier Giroud.
Yeah. Ziyech as well, all these different players available.
Right.
Mm.
Oh, that oil money must be so good, mustn't it? So predicted Chelsea lineup then. Same as you played against Everton, is it?
Yeah, potentially. But then it's very tough to say because I would have said that we would have had the same lineup for the team that we put out against Liverpool, against Everton. So I would envision there being some changes. I think Thiago Silva's fit and Christensen's been playing well. So I think you'll probably find that we'll have Thiago, Christensen and Azpilicueta at the back. And then it's very up for debate about who would have, especially up front, honestly. I think Werner's probably nailed on to start. And you probably find Jorginho and Kante in the middle. And then, it will be whatever Thomas Tuchel's thinking about that day, you'll probably go with.
Okay, and ref watch then. Kevin Friend. Are you a friend of Kevin, Dan?
I can't even remember the last game he officiated for Chelsea, honestly. But then he's a friend of any ref at the moment.
Right. No friends.
No friends.
Ryan? Friends? Ref?
Friends.
Do refs have friends?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Well, he looks a bit of
their friends.
I've just looked him up. He looks a bit of a smug bastard.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, there he is. He's got smashed in the face. Oh no, he collapsed at Bournemouth. Better be nice to him then. And Anthony Taylor as VAR. So there you go. I guess it could be worse. It could be Mike Dean again.
I like Mike Dean. It gives a bit of energy to the game, doesn't it? No,
I don't believe referees should be performance artists.
No, I suppose not.
Seen and not heard, only when needed. Right here. So we've looked at team news. We've talked about injuries and players coming back. We've looked at predicted lineups. We've had the ref watch. we've tried to diagnose Chelsea's weird werewolf catcalls. And we've looked at recent results and the reverse fixture in general. You should have everything you need, possibly could need, to make a informed match preview score prediction. So, Dan, you are the only person to get 5 points, basically maximum points out of this for the whole of the season.
Yeah. I should have retired beforehand, shouldn't I? I should have declined coming on again and just kept that clean sheet.
Right. Yeah. In fact, one of the only people to actually score positive points. Most people get 0. There's been a few. Alex got 1 point every now and then. Anyway, if you are new to this and you don't know how this works, this is how it works. It's a preview prediction. You get 1 point for the correct result. So a win, draw, or a loss. You get 2 extra bonus points for predicting the exact scoreline. You get an extra point for goal scorers predicted. But to stop you gaming the system and naming every player in both teams, you get -1 point for every incorrect goal scorer you name. So, Dan, with all that in mind, what is your preview prediction?
Right. I'm going for 2-1 Chelsea. We haven't conceded that many goals recently. I think Rudiger and someone else, skips my mind, are the only people to score past us. However, as I mentioned in the last game, I've got a feeling that Bamford will always be up for it. So I'm going for 2-1 Chelsea with Bamford to score for you guys. And I'm going to keep the Chelsea scores clear just to try and savour my points, you see.
He's very good at this game.
There you go.
Very good. Not naming any goal scorers. Okay, Ryan?
I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds, and I'm going to stick with Bamford as well.
Oh.
And this Chelsea run's got to come to an end soon, hasn't it? So fingers crossed it's this weekend.
Yes, we've lost 2 in a row, and Chelsea are unbeaten in, what was it, 11?
11, yeah.
That has to end. You can't keep that going forever.
Yeah, especially when we've only conceded 2 goals out of those 11 as well.
Mm.
But yeah, 2-1 Leeds. It could happen, couldn't it? Could happen.
Could. I would like more, to be honest. 4 or 5, I'd like.
Yeah.
Really drum it home. And
10-1. 10-1 Leeds.
10-1. Oh, we have won
25-1 Leeds.
We have won 10-1. I think it was in the 70s, maybe in Europe.
London? Oh, in Europe. Okay.
Yeah, I think we beat Oslo or someone like that. We've got a guy called LUFC Stats, and he has all of this in his photographic memory. He's got it all on hand. So we're really missing him for this. Okay,
the Rain Man of Leeds statistics.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The shaman in spectacles. The bespectacled shaman. Okay, boys. Just enough time then for some final thoughts. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Really am. I'd like us to get an early goal, and I think that it benefits us so much when we do score early. And I do think that we are going to win. Definitely. I'm so confident this weekend, and I'm never normally confident going into these bigger games, should we say, against rivals who we don't particularly like.
Were you confident against West Ham?
Yep.
Just checking. Oh. Okay, Dan. Final thoughts?
Yeah. I'll be confident too then if you were confident going into the West Ham. Again, we've had some really good form, and I think we'll always kind of be up for playing you lot. So we won't be ending our unbeaten form this weekend, and we will definitely not be conceding 2 goals. So I am confident also.
Okay. And I was confident for West Ham, and so I am now no longer able to be confident for anything ever again. I mean, I should have known better. The London Stadium. We were never going to win in the London Stadium. I mean, just on the name alone. Okay, if you've enjoyed this podcast, you can check us out at Peacock's Roar on Twitter and tell your friends about us. We're just the little newborn of Leeds United podcasts. So any help that you could do to spread the word and pass the Peacock would be very much appreciated. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a comment. Tell us your score predictions and enjoy the game. My name is Adonis and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter, and it's a very good bye from me. And Ryan Wignall1, that's your tag on Twitter, innit? So it was a very good bye from Ryan.
Bye-bye now.
And Dan, have you got a Twitter tag as well?
Yes, at Dan Wellsing.
Right, that's great. So
all you need.
Very good, very good bye from Dan as well.
See you later.
Come on, Leeds!
Leeds!
Just come on, Leeds! Just beat them. Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. A very special thanks to Barney Stewart, Cook, Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon and Rob, The Light Show, and all our family and friends.